We watched Gilmore Girls for the first time a couple months ago and found Lorelai Gilmore to be a complexly irritating character. Yet she is always seen as the opposite. So today we are going to unpack how her wounded femininity held her back throughout the entire series and how her refusal to grow as a person and evolve past her trauma made her insufferable. And we don't want you guys to turn out like Lorelai.
She resists surrender, struggles with emotional intimacy, and uses independence as a shield, proving that true feminine power isn't about doing everything alone. It's about knowing when to receive, when to trust, and when to let love in.
For those of you who have never seen this show, Gilmore Girls, it follows this young mother who had a kid at 16 and now she's a single mom, and we're watching her life and how she navigates basically being a young mom who also has her wounded issues with her parents, etc., etc. Now today we want to use Lorelai Gilmore as an example for you guys to learn from, because what's really interesting is how people do not see how Lorelai was her own problem till the end of the show.
Yeah, they think she's like a fun time girl, and I'm like, ain't nothing fun over there.
So first and foremost, we're going to go over what made Lorelai a wounded feminine woman. And we do want to preface by saying we are not saying you're a villain because you are wounded. Every woman essentially is wounded, and we have to work towards healing to fix those issues. But Lorelai's wounded behaviors became such a core thing to her personality that they tried to make it edgy and cute. And it's not edgy and cute. So we're going to go over 5 things that really stood out in Lorelai's character.
The true feminine is really all about being supported and having the ability to receive.
I just thought that they could help.
But I didn't want their help. But Rory, have you ever been without food or clothes or books or book covers for that matter, or anything else you ever needed?
No.
No, and see, the reason for that is me. I have a pretty good track record for keeping you alive.
Yeah, you do.
So when I tell you I can handle something, you need to respect that, especially since you have no evidence proving I won't. Understand?
Yeah.
So one of her first wounds is her hyper independence. So that is a trauma response. That is not a strength.
So that's one thing we really hope to drill into your head. Be open to receiving. If you are a girl who constantly, you're shutting everyone down, do it myself. We know that this usually happens due to how you grew up. Maybe you felt like you had to be in survival mode. But when you are in the state where you're trying to evolve, that's only going to hold you back. A great example of this is when Lorelai refuses to accept financial support from her parents. So on the show, Lorelai Gilmore comes from a very rich family. Her parents are like wealthy, but she was always the type of kid that wanted to stay away from the wealth and abandon it all because she felt very restricted and controlled in her household. So this made her want to reject anything that felt like she was under control. And that in her eyes meant help. So her daughter, who needed financial support in order to get in the best school that she could, needed support and could get it from Lorelai's parents. But Lorelai was willing to try to block that support in order to remain in her hyper-independent state.
And that's insane that you're willing to risk your child's education just to make a point.
All right, so the second thing that really bothered me about Lorelai's character is that she sabotaged emotionally safe relationships. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that, or you know someone in your life that does that. And personally, it's extremely frustrating watching people do that.
Lorelai, throughout the entire show, constantly runs from quality, emotionally available men. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to men who aren't emotionally available, baby, she is open. She is here.
I'm telling you guys right now, Luke and Lorelai is not a romantic story. That's something we'll talk about another day.
That's a bloody joke, okay?
She entertains the men that keep her at a distance the most, aka Luke, constantly being in a little thing with him. Even Christopher. In the earlier days, he's like this like on and off distant come and go man. Like she likes that.
Yeah, he's not even around. He's in a different city. Like she loves that. Like he's so far away and like not with me.
But all those other men, like Max, the teacher, all those men who are ready to give her stability, or that guy that worked for her dad, she wants to throw up. Like, what do you mean you have money, you have stability, you want to provide for me, you want to care for me and give me emotionally open, healthy love? Have you met me? That's literally Lorelai.
She's like, in that, like, I realized like how much I've grown from my wounds. Like I found her so dirty for this behavior. I was like, what a dirty woman. This is crazy.
And if you're out there acting like Lorelai, you gotta stop, because especially if you are older, like if you're an older girl in your late 20s, late 30s, we can't be doing this shit because you're blocking blessings that are rightfully yours. But because you're not open to receiving and etc., you're sabotaging healthy relationships. A good example of when Lorelai does this is in the 7th season of this show. She gets married to Christopher, who is the father of Rory. She gets married to him, and it's not because it is realistic love. It's because it's familiar and chaotic, and it aligns with her inner wounds. But what she didn't expect was for Christopher to now be a healed version of himself.
She was disgusted, bruv. When they went to Paris, he was really showing her, like, I'm this quality man. I'm here for you. Like, and even then he starts talking about children. He wants to set up his life in her house. She literally act like this guy has, like, literally the cooties or something. Remember the cooties?
No,
like,
she said, you have Ebola.
Yeah, like, you're not okay. You have a venereal disease. Finally, a man is saying, hey, I want to have a home with you. I want to really have a true foundation so we can start a family. But that disgusted her, that he was so open and was longing for the balding rat across the street.
And we want to tell you guys, this is another wounded feminine trait. It's very similar to Carrie Bradshaw. And the wounded trait that this showcases is fear of surrendering to true emotional intimacy. If you are a woman who fears that, that is a wounded trait, and it's very possible that there's many moments throughout your life in your romantic relationships that you are making things get weird when the man tries to be emotionally vulnerable with you.
And now I realize, oh my God, I get what they mean when they say the nice guy and the bad guy. The nice guy is the secure attachment, the one who is healed, the one who is open with his emotions. The bad guy is when you're in the state of being not healed at all. He looks enticing because he gives danger. He aligns with your inner turmoil. He's like, oh my God, like this ride. That's why the nice guy gives you the ick, and the dangerous guy seems so amazing. But when you heal, the dangerous guy seems like he's wasting your time.
Exactly.
Compared to the guy who's open and loving, you're like, oh my God, like.
And
yes.
in this case, the one that's dangerous would be Luke. So another thing that really bothered us about Lorelai's character that showcased her wounded behavior was that she craved freedom, but it was always rooted in rebellion. It wasn't real.
Yeah.
Like everything that had to do with rebelling against her parents, it would be, even if it would be to the detriment of her daughter, and she would always say it's because she wants to be free. It's because I don't want to be controlled. But it's kind of like...
But to what extent and to what detriment? What is freedom when it's actually something that can improve your life? Who are you trying to prove that to?
Lorelai frames her escape from her wealthy upbringing as independence. But in reality, it's a reaction to feeling trapped and unseen in her childhood home. Her rejection of her parents' world is less about authentic self-discovery and more about rejecting control at all costs.
The true feminine would actually receive the money the parents want to give her. And the true feminine also has boundaries, so they are aware of the toxic tendencies their parent may have and will retreat when needed. That's what Lorelai actually had to do. Instead of acting like a 5-year-old, a grown-ass woman doing temper tantrums whenever her parents want to help her to create a point. Oh my God, we get it. You don't want their money. We freaking get it. I don't know how many times we had to watch this. That was crazy. Like
very
7
frustrating
seasons of constant. Wait, I don't like you, mommy. You made me so mad as a kid. I'm so mad at you. Like, I get it. I get it. Grow up.
And what you guys need to understand is that someone who associates structure and stability with control, that is a wounded feminine trait. You have to work through that. Because literally, do you hear the words I'm saying? Stability and structure are supposed to be positive things in your life, but you see it as something you need to have a defense against to protect yourself. That means you haven't worked through something and there is a blockage there.
that means you need to forgive your parents, number
or
one.
whoever.
Forgive whoever was controlling you in your life that made you feel like you couldn't be you. You have to forgive and now acknowledge, like, I have the control to be who I want to be, and I have the control of when to remove myself when needed.
Absolutely.
Like, so that way when stability comes around, it doesn't freak you out and land you in some trash. Because that's what happens. You keep dating trash who does bare minimum work because you didn't decide to move on from your past.
Now, this one has to be one of the biggest things that bothered us about Lorelai, and it was the fact that her relationship with Rory seems like it was all about benefiting her and to feed her own emotional wounds.
Yeah.
It was very weird and narcissistic. Do I believe she loved and cared for Rory? Absolutely. And I do think she wanted the best for her. But I also believe that she felt like Rory was supposed to feed into her needs and her desires first before Rory fed into her own.
Yeah.
Even if she didn't want to say it.
Yeah, it's really weird. I feel like once Rory got here, she's like, what the fuck? I put you here. Like, can you like be my anchor for everything? And I was like, girl, you're weird. She needs to grow up.
Instead of being a mother first, Lorelai relies on Rory for emotional support, treating her more like a best friend.
A great example is Rory and her whole education.
Oh yeah, so for those who have never watched Gilmore Girls, so this girl was obsessed with school and getting her straight A's and whatnot. So she was always thriving to be a journalist. And this girl always had people telling her she's perfect, she can get anything, you're going to be the best in everything. Her mom, her grandparents, her town. So she does an internship with her boyfriend's dad, who's like a huge journalist, and he basically tells her, hey, I've been working with you for a bit, and guess what? I don't think you're that good. And because her ego has been so inflated by the people around her, it was the most shocking news of her life.
And I have to tell you, you don't got it. Now, guts can be wrong. Mine's been wrong before, but not often.
I thought I was doing okay.
I just don't think you really have the drive to put yourself out there, to be honest.
So Rory ends up saying, hey, I want to take a year off. I'm not trying to go to school. I need to figure myself out. Instead of reacting with wisdom and giving her guidance, Lorelai reacts emotionally based on what she wants Rory to do.
Yes.
And so that's not helpful because you're not really seeing, hey, my daughter's actually going through an emotional crisis, feeling uncertain about her identity. Instead, you're like, wait, you're not following the plan that I organized and I was going along with. Like, that's not going to what I want and envision for you.
And then as a mother, she actually retaliates against her own child by giving her the silent treatment, which is just not normal. It just proves that her emotional needs were not fulfilled, so now you get punished. And that's not normal as a mom, and this is why we want to bring up her relationship with Rory was like one of the most irritating parts of the show and most interesting parts, because I think it's very realistic for a lot of people. And I think that's the whole, like, I think these are the little things they were trying to showcase, but a lot of you guys that love this show miss the bigger picture here.
It is also just a wounded trait to use motherhood as an emotional void. Instead of working on yourself and finding your own identity, you kind of mesh your motherhood with your identity. And then that causes your child to struggle with their own growth and development. So, yeah.
So yeah, if you're out here using your kid to have an identity and you're like making your kid make you feel good, baby, that's a wounded feminine trait. You want to be in your most divine feminine energy so your kid has something to look up to. Let's do that.
And you're also inflicting a cycle of abuse that you complained about your mother. You complained about control. That is inadvertently doing the exact same thing that your mother was doing to you.
Yeah.
So Emily was doing that, and then now your reaction, that is a form of control because you're not letting Rory be herself and make an authentic decision without you putting your emotions in it.
And this leads us to the fifth thing that bothered us about Lorelai Gilmore. And it was that she used her humor and her sarcasm as a defense mechanism. And she also used eating unhealthy as a way to feel like she was breaking boundaries and like no one can control her. She can do what she wants. And I bet you guys never saw it that way, but we're here to shine a flashlight.
I sure did.
So first of all, Lorelai's quick wit is not like a really cute personality trait. these are emotional shields. Anytime, let's say her mother brought up something serious, Lorelai would reply, "Bibbidi boppity boo," and then it's like, what are we talking about right now?
It's like, are you okay?
They'd be like, "Oh my gosh, what happened with this guy that you were seeing? I heard that you guys are engaged. When's the wedding?" She'd be like, "When's the wedding?" It's like,
And it's like, oh my God, is she okay?
Dennis, it is time to get proactive on this.
That's when mild-mannered Jason Stiles suddenly darted into a phone booth, ripped off his shirt, and became Proactive Man.
I'm sorry, what? I didn't get that last part.
Able to be proactive wherever there's activity of a sub-pro nature.
Dennis, just do this.
like
A lot of times I'd actually be like, we're joking, right?
I never found Lorelai funny. She might as well be scatting, which is why I'm doing it. Because all her jokes were like this. They're not even funny. Bada boom, bam, boom, bada boom, 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 boom,
She
boom,
thinks,
boom,
and
boom.
I think, like, anyone who thinks Lola is actually funny,
You have never met a funny
Godspeed,
person.
and we probably wouldn't be friends in real life.
Yeah.
'Cause to me, Lorelai's that annoying girl in class that won't shut the F up, actually. Because it's like, she's not really saying anything of value, and it's not actually funny.
You're not actually quippy, and I actually agreed a lot with Emily Gilmore when she would react. The way Emily reacted negatively to Lorelai's humor was because she was so aware that it was a defense mechanism, and she didn't find it funny because anytime she would at least try to break the wall between them and get to some emotional vulnerability, she replied with "ha boop ba boop ba ba boop 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 boop."
And it's just like anyone who talks to her, even her own daughter, she would make jokes. And Rory be trying to get serious with her too, and she's like being annoying. And I'm like, anyway, dude.
Hello?
Mom, I'm studying.
Yeah, but I'm talking ice cream. Can't you take a break?
I can't take a break right now.
Okay. When?
Are you 4?
No, I'm hungry.
Have some more pizza.
It's cold.
Heat it up.
It's not the same.
Lorelai, go to your room.
When it came to food, she saw eating, unhealthily as an act of rebellion. And I think it's 100% attributed to her parents' house because they are rich. They eat actually quality food. They're eating food that you wish you can go to a restaurant and eat. And she'll make digs when she goes to their house about their food. And I'm like, you are insane because people pay hundreds of dollars to eat that at a restaurant, what you're eating.
What's really interesting is you will see throughout the show how satisfied she feels every time she gets her mother to try something from like a fast food place, have soda, have processed food. Like for her, she's like, ooh, this dopamine rush.
What's in the cups?
Well, you got your soda, your iced tea, root beer, lemonade,
I'll try this.
orange Julius.
A classic.
Oh my, that's very good. Your father and I know a man who owns a couple dozen of these stands as part of his holdings. Now I can sincerely tell him I like his product.
Excellent.
We've got napkins.
Oh, get some more little pepper thingies, please. So dig in, Mom. You've got sweet and sour pork and pizza and some wrap thingy. I already forget what it is, but it's probably not healthy.
Okay.
Oh, and there's ice cream too.
But I feel like people just thought, oh, it's just funny. Lorelai and Rory eat like shit all the time. There was even a time where they specifically showed Dean and Lorelai and Rory having a movie night. Dean is eating a salad. The boyfriend's eating a salad and they're throwing back pizza slices. When Lorelai was with Luke, he brought up how she doesn't care about her health.
And even when they weren't together, he would always, even at like the diner, he'd be like, can I like order you a little something healthy? Like,
And she's like, nope. And I remember there was a part of the show where the mother talked about how she cares about eating healthy. And Lorelai attributes that to control. So in every aspect of her life, she tries to rebel against her parents.
It's expensive to slowly rot your insides, isn't it?
You see how a wound that you didn't heal from years ago is randomly playing out in different aspects of your life? Like, does that sound normal to you guys? I'm gonna eat like shit forever because mommy wants me to eat healthy.
when I was a kid, mom wanted me to do that, so fuck mommy. Like, do you hear
you
that?
guys-
You're doing like temper tantrums throughout your lifetime. That's embarrassing. You're not a child anymore.
Exactly.
So get rid of these wounds. Move on. Accept what it is, but like don't block your blessings. And you're literally blocking your life trying to run away from control.
The reason why we don't like Lorelai Gilmore as a lead female character is because she never believed in growth. I love female leads that start off flawed, messed up. That's how we all are. But we watch you for seasons and seasons to see you become better. And Lorelai stayed stagnant. And we wanted to use her as our example today because this could be you guys. Unmarried, 10 years with Luke in the same town, still not doing fuck all with your life. She still doesn't, she never even wanted to expand in anything. She didn't want to expand her businesses. She didn't believe in abundance. Anytime her parents would try to tell her, we can help you expand your businesses, make more money. We can help your significant other make more money. Because that was connected to them, she gave up expansion, receiving support. She didn't want abundance. The way this girl rejected any essence of femininity to get back at mommy and daddy, I don't even know what to say.
She 100% played a role in the downfall of Rory's life. Check out our video up above. We delve in a little bit into that. And as you can see, because of this, they're really trying to show us in the show, look at the time span. Look at the amount of seasons. This could be you. You don't want to be her.
This is a cycle of generational emotional abuse from Gilmore to Gilmore to Gilmore. And we want you guys to know if you don't address these traits and you don't address these behaviors, you're going to keep passing it on to the next generation. And we want it to end with you. And if you found this video helpful and educational and entertaining, make sure to like,
comment,
share,
and subscribe
to the Remy Diaries, aka Remy TV, your favorite YouTube streaming network, where you'll never want to change the channel. Bye.